Hi, this is Vincent Borbely for CSC 386's second assignment, in which we're doing client-server work with TCP and UDP. So I'm going to start by showing TCP off. To start, I opted to go for messages with kind of a start item and end type enum, as we discussed in class, kind of using the start and end marker packets here. So that would just be like the enum and the item contained within the message here. So it's doing proper setup, initializing WinSock in the socket and connecting them as they should be. And then it begins sending the list. So it sends the start message to the server. The server would, at this point, have also been set up, bound, and listening for a connection. And I suppose also at this point it would have accepted the connection. So now it's receiving everything from the client. It receives the start, and then for as long as it doesn't receive the end, it will continue to push items into the list for sorting on its end. So it's going to do all that until client sends the end of the list here. So client will send for as long as it has items in the list to send. And then, the list will be sent and it will clear things to be able to receive the new list. So this is just kind of inverting the process, so to speak. So now the server is going to send items in kind of the same manner. The client will receive items in the same manner, and then everything will be, cleaned up, closed, and we'll see how it runs. So just to show off, the client is not capable of starting on its own. It'll back out. So we need to start with server first. So as you can see here, the client will send the list, connect properly, and then send the list to the server, some 30 items in random order. It will send this list and start waiting for a reply from the server, where the server will also be connected, receiving all these packets, and then conduct the operation and start sending the sorted list back to the client. Client will receive this sorted list, and both of them will pass tracking and close out and all that good stuff. So just to show it off here as well, the client has the sorted list now at the end, and it's done. And so is the server. So that's TCP. Now for UDP, it's set up in a similar manner, but not quite the same. So of course it has the same message struct as before, initializes everything as it should be, and then it begins sending the list with no handshake needed, because this is UDP that we're doing here. So it sends the list start and begins waiting for acknowledgement from the server. So at this point on the UDP server, it will have done all the setup, of course, be expecting items, and then I opted to go for the approach option 1 here, which is just echoing the item back. So it would send the item back to the client, and the client will check to see that the message it received back is the same as the one it just sent out, and then it will have been properly acknowledged. If not, it'll spit out an error and clean up everything. And then it'll proceed kind of in a similar fashion, down the whole node lists, sending, waiting for X, and receiving X, until it hits the end of the list, basically. Now, after that, it would start waiting for the sorted list. So, of course, the server would sort the list and send it back. Again, this is just kind of an inverse of what it was just doing. So now the server's sending, waiting for acknowledgement from the client. The client will send back acknowledgement, ideally, and until it's at the end, basically. And then, we'll clean up properly. And again, we'll show off kind of how it works here. So, on client side, we start by we send the list start. It waits for acknowledgement in between each packet it sends until it's at the end. On the server side, on the server side, it will be receiving these items, sending acknowledgments as they're received. When it receives all items, it sorts them and sends them back, of course, with acknowledgement, or sorry, while waiting for acknowledgement, I should say, until it reaches the end. It will close, pass memory tracking, and on this end, it will also, I don't know why it's not scrolling, it will receive these things back, send an ACK. I want to mention the only reason it has this gargantuan number here is just for indicating start and end. That's the value I use, so it's nothing really too serious there. It's gotten all items from the server, closes out, passes tracking, and as you'll see here in Visual Studio, it received the sorted list from the server properly and backed out. And the server also did the same. So I'd say it's a successful assignment.